Assalamu alaikum students. In this lecture we are going to study about X bar theory. So previously we were discussing about the syntax. We have studied many things related to the syntax. That is, the first we studied about the universal grammar, which is the concept given by Noam Chomsky, and then we studied the different concepts related to universal grammar. The X bar theory is also the concept which is related to the universal grammar. The lecture outline is introduction, the X bar theory formula, and the concept of bar. So let's begin towards the lecture. So what is the X bar theory? This theory was presented by Noam Chomsky in 1970s to explain the phrase structure grammar in a mathematical way. So in the previous lecture we have studied about the phrase structure grammar, that how there are many phrases in a sentence, but a main sentence is composed of a well-formed, a grammatical sentence is formed of basically two main phrases, that are the noun phrase and the verb phrase. Then in further we divided into constituents, that what noun phrases consist of further constituents, and then for what verb phrases consist of further constituents. That was basically the phrase structure grammar that we also studied with the help of the tree diagrams, that how a sentence is actually basically analyzed in a phrase structure. So this is a universal feature which is common to all languages. Every language, either it's Urdu, it's Arabic, it's Persian, it's Hindi language, whatever language is it, any well-formed sentence, any grammatical sentence in any language can be explained, which is a universal feature, that is a phrase structure grammar, which is given by Noam Chomsky. So what is the phrase structure grammar? In phrase structure grammar we have studied that any well-formed sentence, no matter what language is it, either it's English, it's Urdu, whatever the language is it, any well-formed or grammatical sentence in any language can be explained in the form of phrase structure grammar, or we can draw a tree diagram according to the rules of that. According to the rule, we have studied principles and parameters. So principle is a phrase structure grammar which is common to all languages. So parameters which are different in different languages. So we make tree diagrams according to the parameters of each language. So the Noam Chomsky gave a formula to explain the phrase structure grammar in a mathematical way, that we can also study language in a mathematical way, in a formula way. We can also give a formula as well, that any sentence can be studied in the form of a formula. X bar theory makes claim that every single phrase in every single sentence in the mental grammar of every single human language has the same core organization. So the concept is related to the universality, that it makes the claim that every single phrase in every single sentence in the mental grammar. So here the mental grammar is related to the concept I have discussed before, that is mentalism, or we can say the mentalist theory, which was initiated by, presented by Noam Chomsky, that human mind has some innate capabilities to acquire the language. Behaviorist says that any person or any human being acquires the language by the behaviors, by noting, by experiencing the behaviors of others, whereas the Noam Chomsky states that okay, that behavior is something which is a requirement for the learning of something, but human minds have something innate in their mind which through which they acquire the language. So here the mental grammar relates to that concept, that is the innate capability of every person, is every has the same core organization. So means that this is the formula is same for all languages. So this is also a universal feature related to the universal grammar concept. So X bar theory suggests a universal formula for representation of the phrase structure grammar. So the X bar theory suggests a universal formula for representation of the phrase structure grammar. So that is a universal formula that is same for all languages. Any language, there can be different ways of analyzing the sentences. There can be different parameters or different ways of analyzing the sentences, but the formula is the same for all languages. Like we have in every language, in every well-formed sentence contains a noun phrase and a verb phrase. Either what comes in verb phrase and what comes in noun phrase, that is different in different languages. So we are dealing with the universality. So this X bar theory gives a universal formula for representation of the phrase structure grammar. So let's see what's the formula is. It's called the X bar P. Here the sign X is bar, X bar P, or X bar P, or we can also write as XP bar. So let's see what is X and what is P in this theory. Here in the formula, X stands for any lexical category. Any lexical category means any part of speech. Any part of speech. So X stands for any part of speech. That is either noun, verb, preposition, adjective, adverb, conjunction. What it is. So it stands, X is any lexical category or any part of speech. X may stand for a noun, X may stand for a verb, X may stand for a preposition, X may stand for an adjective, X may stand for an adverb. So X basically is the representation of the part of speech, any part of speech. Now what is a P? P stands for the phrase. So simply P stands for the phrase. X stands for the lexical category, that is any part of speech, whereas the P stands for the phrase. So X, just ignore for now the bar concept, just see the XP. What is X and what is P? X is for any noun, verb, adjective, adverb, whereas P is for phrase. X is that value which you can change, but P is constant. So now the thing which is to be noted here is that X is variable. We can change the value of X, but we cannot change the value of P. P is constant, that is P means for phrase. We cannot put the clause in P, we cannot put the sentence in P. The P is constant, that is for the phrase. Whereas X is for either for the noun, either for the verb, either for the adjective, or either for the adverb. So just see XP. So if we add a noun in value noun instead of X, it becomes a noun phrase. If we add an XP in X, a verb, we take the verb instead of X, we put a verb. This is the verb phrase. If we put preposition, it's a prepositional phrase. If we put adjective, it's an adjectival or adjective phrase. If we put adverb, it's an adverbial phrase. So see, the P is constant and X is changing. So whatever value we put, the phrase becomes that. If we put noun instead of X, the phrase XP becomes the noun phrase. If we put verb instead of X, the XP becomes the verb phrase. If we put preposition instead of X, means in X is any term for any lexical category. So we are just putting the values, just as we put the values in the mathematics. So here we are just changing the lexical category, we are just changing the part of speech, and the phrase is constant. So understood with the concept with XP. Now we are going to study the concept of bar, that what is the bar. X bar, XP, done with XP, that what is XP actually. Now what X bar P? Noted to be here is the thing that bar is on X, not on P. In the formula, the bar shows that if there is a parent, then there will be daughters also. So in the previous lectures we have studied the nodes, the concept of nodes. We have the parent, we have the sister nodes. So now considered the parent as noun phrase or verb phrase. The main parent after the sentence, as we divide the sentence into two main parts, that is a noun phrase and a verb phrase. So consider the noun phrase or a verb phrase as a parent. So the bar on the X, X means any lexical category. So the bar on the X shows that if there is a parent, if there is any noun phrase or verb phrase or prepositional phrase, there is a parent. There we can also add the prepositional phrase as well, the adjective phrase as well, the adverbial phrase as well. So if there is a parent, means if there is XP, we change the value of XP, we made a phrase. The bar shows there will be daughters also as well. What are the daughters? The constituents of the noun phrase and the verb phrase, or we can say the adjective phrase or the prepositional phrases, or we can say the prepositional phrases. Here I have just mentioned the noun phrase and the verb phrase for your convenience, but there can be the daughters of the prepositional phrase as well, the adjective phrase as well. So done with the concept of bar. XP means X is variable. We put any lexical category to make the phrase, and then the bar shows that if there is a parent, there is any phrase, either noun phrase, verb phrase, adjective phrase, prepositional phrase, there will be the daughters also as well. So X bar P means that any phrase, parent phrase, consists of daughters as well. Now how this formula is going to apply on the phrase structure grammar, just see. This is an example. The girl with flowers is reading the book. So the girl with flowers is reading the book. So now make the tree diagram of this sentence. Is we have the sentence, then we have the noun phrase and the verb phrase. So just consider XP and XP. Here in X we have put noun, so it becomes noun phrase. Here in X we have put the verb, so it's a verb phrase. Now where is the concept of the bar? See, these are the parents and these further contains the daughters as well. So what are the daughters of noun phrases? The determiner, the noun, and again a prepositional phrase. Here again a prepositional phrase. What we have done by xp, x bar p, we have changed the value of x as preposition, and the p for phrase is constant, and the daughters of this phrase x, if we take the xp, x bar p, daughters are preposition and noun. So now the verb phrase, the daughters are auxiliary is main verb. Then again noun phrase, the what are the daughters of the noun phrase are the determiner and the noun. So see that x bar p is the sum up of the whole phrase structure grammar. In phrase structure grammar we make this type of tree diagrams to explain the structure of a sentence, whereas x bar p is the formula which explains that any parent, either it's noun phrase, prepositional phrase, verb phrase, any parent contains further daughters as well. So this is the mathematical notation of the phrase structure grammar. Let's take another example. So just ignore the post head, or just take the example, the boys in the garden play cricket. Here the phrase structure grammar, what is x bar p? Noun phrase, we have put x, the value noun, any lexical category. Bar means it has further daughters. So again pp means prepositional phrase. So what we have done, we have just changed the lexical category from noun to preposition, and it becomes a prepositional phrase. X bar, bar means it contains further daughters, so there are the further daughters. And again the noun phrase x bar p, noun phrase contains further daughters as well. So see how we have sum up in a mathematical formula the whole phrase structure grammar. Then again the verb phrase contains daughters, and then again the noun phrase contains a further daughter. So see how we have sum up the whole phrase structure grammar in just one formula, that is x bar p. xp, x means any lexical category, that is any part of speech, either noun, preposition, adjective, adverb. So verb, and p stands for phrase, and then bar represents the presence of the daughters in a sentence. Let's take another example. The beautiful girl with glasses is intellectual. So again x bar p represents np and vp. We have just changed the lexical category. X is variable, we can change the value of x. Here we put the noun, here we put the verb, and then it becomes the noun phrase and verb phrase. Then again the noun phrase consists of further daughters, and again the prepositional phrase consists further daughters, and again then verb phrase consists of further daughters, verb and adjectives. So this is what we have with the x bar theory. So in the example we have seen that the noun phrase and verb phrase further contains constituents, that is daughters. So not only the noun phrases and verb phrases, the prepositional phrases, the adjective phrases, the adverb phrases also contains the constituents or the daughters as well. So just for your convenience I have just mentioned here just the noun phrase and the verb phrase. So the bar on the X denotes that the main or parent phrase has the daughters as well. The daughters can be further phrases or only just the lexical categories. So the daughters can be further phrases, as we have seen that noun phrase consists of further prepositional phrases, and or the noun phrase in the last example we have seen. Just take the example that it may contain only the adjective, or noun may contain only the daughters as the a lexical category or a part of speech, or may contain further a phrase as well. Then a phrase may contain either a phrase or a just lexical category. Here, like in this sentence, the phrase contains further the lexical category. Here the prepositional phrase contains further a phrase and a lexical category. So this is all about the today's lecture. These are the references. You can take guidance from these references as well. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.